Moving to the US was my dream, but nobody told me that figuring out the money system here would be a total nightmare. In my first couple of years, I made 5 huge financial mistakes that cost me thousands of dollars. Today, I'm sharing them with you so you can build your American dream without the financial faceplants I had. I am Lexa Sterling. I am the AI avatar of Dr. Schamma Salomon. Every script is personally written and meticulously reviewed by Dr. Salomon to ensure accuracy. My story probably sounds a little like yours. I landed here with huge hopes, tons of excitement, and basically zero knowledge about how money actually works in America. I thought I was being smart. I thought I was being careful. But let's be real, I was completely unprepared for the financial culture shock. The rules are just different here. And not knowing those rules isn't just a hassle, it's expensive. It set me back in ways I never saw coming. This isn't about pointing fingers. It's about passing on the hard-won lessons I wish someone had given me. On this channel, I talk about my journey as an immigrant, figuring things out one step at a time. And my goal is to give you the map I never had. So today, we're getting into the 5 biggest money mistakes I made. These aren't just theories. These are my real stories of messing up, falling down, and finally getting it right. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll have a clear roadmap to avoid these traps and start your financial life in the US on the right foot. Mistake number 1, trying to be a cash king in a cashless kingdom. The first, and maybe the most basic mistake I made, was thinking cash was king. Where I come from, holding cash means you're secure. It's real. You earn it, you touch it, you spend it. You always know exactly what you have. So when I got here, I did what felt normal. I kept my money in cash. I paid for everything with it. Groceries, the bus, you name it. I felt totally in control. The reality? I was a ghost, completely cut off from the American financial system. I learned this the hard way when I tried to rent an apartment. The landlord wanted a credit check and the rent paid by check or bank transfer. I had the money right there in cash, but I had no bank account and 0 credit history. To the landlord, an adult with no bank account was a giant red flag. It made me look sketchy. I ended up paying with a money order, which cost a fee, but the embarrassment was the real price. What nobody tells you is that the US economy is like a video game, and to play, you need to create a player profile. Using only cash is like trying to play that game without ever signing up. You can watch from the sidelines, but you can't get a direct deposit from your job, pay bills online, or level up by building a credit history. You're financially invisible. And let's be honest, carrying a bunch of cash is a huge risk. If it gets lost or stolen, it's just gone. So here's the fix. And it's the very first thing you should do. Open a US bank account as soon as you can. I know it sounds intimidating, but many banks and credit unions are now very welcoming to newcomers. You don't always need a social security number, SSN. Many will let you open an account with an ITIN, an individual taxpayer identification number, or even just your passport and proof of your US address. Look into credit unions. They're nonprofits and often more community-focused. A checking account gives you a debit card, a safe place for your money, and your ticket into the modern American economy. It's the foundation of your financial life here. Don't wait. Mistake number 2. Being a ghost in the financial machine. This next mistake is directly connected to the first one, and honestly, it cost me more in lost opportunities than anything else. My mistake was not understanding or even thinking about credit. I grew up in a culture where debt was a bad word. My logic was simple. No loans, no credit cards, no problems. In my head, I had a perfect financial record. In the American financial system's eyes, I had no record at all. I was a ghost. My ghost status became a very real problem when my phone died. I went to get a new one with a monthly plan. The salesperson ran my info and came back confused. "It says here you have no credit score," he said. "You'll need to pay a deposit of a few $100s." I was stunned. The same thing happened when I tried to get an apartment without a cosigner, and again when I looked into financing a cheap used car. I was being penalized not for having bad credit, but for having no credit. Here's the critical piece of info I was missing. Think of your credit score as your financial trust score. It's a number that tells everyone from landlords to lenders how reliable you are. A good score is like a VIP pass. It unlocks approvals for apartments, better insurance rates, and lower interest on loans. Without a score, you're not at zero, you're a blank page. You're an unknown risk. And that risk will cost you, either through high deposits and interest rates, or just getting told no. The solution is to start building your credit history from day one. The easiest on-ramp is a secured credit card. You give the bank a small security deposit, like $300, and that becomes your credit limit. You use that card for small purchases, gas, groceries, and then, this is the most important part, you pay the bill in full and on time every single month. It's like a financial workout. After about 6 months of these reps, the bank sees you're reliable, gives you your deposit back, and upgrades you to a regular unsecured credit card. That's how you begin. Another option is a credit builder loan from a credit union. Don't be scared of credit. Learn to use it as a tool. In America, a good credit score isn't just about borrowing, it's about opening doors. Mistake number 3, getting lost in the terrifying tax maze. Okay, let's talk about the mistake that gave me actual nightmares: taxes. I thought I was doing the right thing. I got a form, filled it out the best I could, and sent it in. A few months later, a thick, official-looking envelope from the IRS arrived. My heart just dropped. The letter was full of confusing jargon, but the message was clear. I'd messed up, and I owed them money, plus penalties and interest. My specific error was filing with the wrong status, but the bigger mistake was my total ignorance. Filing US taxes is like following a very complicated recipe. If you're American, you know the basic ingredients. But for an immigrant, there are extra secret ingredients you have to add, like reporting your worldwide income, or filing a separate report called an FBAR for foreign bank accounts. I didn't know about these secret ingredients. I wandered into a minefield completely blind. If you mess up the recipe, the chef, in this case the IRS, doesn't just say the dish is bad. They hand you a huge bill for penalties, and serious errors can even affect your immigration status. What makes it so tricky is how specific the rules are. Your residency status for tax purposes isn't always the same as your immigration status. If you're a US citizen, green card holder, or a resident for tax purposes, you have to report your income from all over the world. The penalties for not reporting foreign accounts are no joke. We're talking thousands of dollars, even for honest mistakes. It was a terrifying and expensive lesson. Here is my non-negotiable advice on this. For your first few years here, get a professional to do your taxes. I know it feels like an extra cost, but trust me, the price of a good tax professional is an investment that can save you thousands in future penalties. Find a CPA or an enrolled agent who has experience with immigrant tax situations. They know all the secret ingredients: tax treaties, foreign income, and FBAR FATCA reporting. They will make sure you're doing everything by the book. I resisted this because I thought I could handle it myself. Big mistake. Paying a pro for a few hours is infinitely cheaper than paying the IRS for years of your own errors. Mistake number 4. The friendly favor that cost me a fortune. When you're new in a country, it's natural to lean on people you trust. That's what I did, and it led to my 4th big mistake: letting someone else handle my money. A well-meaning relative offered to help me send money back home. "I do it all the time," they said. "It's easier, just give me the cash and I'll handle it." And it did seem easier, so I agreed. At first, it was fine. But then, one month, the money was late. Another month, the amount that arrived was less than I'd sent, eaten by confusing fees. When I asked about it, things got awkward and strained our relationship. The real problem was that handing over control was like giving someone the steering wheel to your car while you sat blindfolded in the back. You trust they know the way, but you can't see the turns they're making or if they're taking expensive detours. All you know is you aren't getting where you want to go on time, and it's costing you way more than it should. By relying on this favor, I gave up the chance to learn and was stuck in a state of financial dependence. Your financial journey in America has to be your own. Relying on informal favors for critical tasks like sending money is just asking for trouble. It opens you up to mistakes, misunderstandings. The solution is to take ownership of your money from day one. Thankfully, technology makes this easier than ever. You don't need a middleman. For sending money internationally, there are tons of reputable apps like Remitly, Wise, and others. You can compare their fees and exchange rates right on your phone. Taking the time to set these things up yourself is a critical skill. It's like taking the driver's seat of your own financial car. It's one of the most empowering things you can do. Learning to manage your own transactions says, "I'm in control of my life here." Mistake number 5, thinking I didn't have the right to ask questions. This last mistake is a mindset thing, but it was the foundation for all the others. I was too intimidated to speak up. I remember walking into my first bank feeling overwhelmed. The bankers were using words I'd never heard before: overdraft protection, minimum balance, APY. I didn't want to look stupid, so when the banker pointed where to sign, I just signed. I didn't ask what the fees were or how to avoid them. I just nodded, desperate to get out of there. Of course, a month later, I got slapped with a $12 fee. Another time, a tiny purchase overdrew my account, and the bank's protection kicked in, hitting me with a $35 overdraft fee. I had paid $40 for a $5 coffee. I was mad at myself. I walked into these traps because I was too scared to ask questions about my own money. It's like going to the doctor and letting them give you a prescription without explaining what it is or what the side effects are. You wouldn't do that with your health, so why do it with your financial health? Here's the truth that took me way too long to learn. You have every right to ask. The financial system is confusing for everyone, not just immigrants. You are the customer. It is the bank's job to explain its products. It's their job to be your financial doctor and explain the side effects of a high-fee account or the proper dosage for using overdraft protection. You have the right to ask for a simpler explanation. The solution is to become your own financial advocate. Actively hunt for knowledge and never be afraid to speak up. Look for free financial literacy workshops for immigrants. Websites like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, have resources to help you understand the jargon. Before you sign any document, take it home. Please read it. Google the terms. And when you're at the bank, have your questions written down and don't leave until you get answers you actually understand. Remember, your accent isn't a sign of ignorance. It's a sign you know more than one language. Your questions are your right as a consumer. So let's do a quick recap. We talked about the trap of sticking to cash, and why you need to get into the banking system. We demystified credit scores and explained why being a financial ghost is so harmful. We looked at the scary maze of US taxes and why getting professional help is non-negotiable. We covered the hidden risks of the friendly favor and the power of controlling your own money. And finally, we talked about shaking off that fear and asking the questions you have a right to ask. If I could go back and give myself one piece of advice on my first day in America, it would be this. Your financial success here has just as much to do with your confidence and knowledge as it does with how hard you work. These 5 areas are the absolute foundation. If you can get these right, get banked, build credit, handle your taxes, manage your own money, and speak up for yourself, you'll be building a powerful and stable platform for your American dream. The system is different, yes, but it's not impossible. You can learn it, you can navigate it, and you can absolutely thrive in it. My journey has been packed with lessons, and I know I'm not alone. So now I want to hear from you. What's the biggest money lesson you've learned since moving to the US? Or if you're planning your move, which of these mistakes worries you the most? Share your stories, questions, and advice in the comments below. This is a community where we can all learn from each other. So let's get that conversation started. And of course, if this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I'll be sharing more lessons and practical guides to help you navigate your new life here. And remember, I'm not a guru, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just someone who made every mistake so you don't have to. Learn from my pain, build your wealth, change your life. Now go take action. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.